All right. So you maybe just closed on your brand new house. So congratulations. And you are wondering what is the first thing you should do. Maybe you're under contract and you have a house closing coming up. Congratulations. Or maybe you're just a great pre-planner. Congratulations to you too. I'm going to go through 11 things that you should be doing once you close on your house. And some of these things you can actually do before you close on your house, but can't take effect until the house actually closes. So if you want to know exactly what these items are, make sure you hit that like button. And to never miss your opportunity to see your comments come to life, make sure you're dropping some comments down in the comment box. So without further ado, I'm going to get into this list so that way you know exactly what you should do as a home buyer. So you close on your house. What's the first thing you can do? Well, the first thing you can do to get ready is connect utilities. And what I mean by that is you have water, sewer, trash, cable, electric, power, gas, lots of different things to connect. And what I recommend doing is asking your title company to provide you with a list of service providers in your area. Obviously, if you're moving from one house to another, that's going to be a whole other situation. And some real estate companies out there have this thing called Utility Connect. It's where they give you your information. They call you, they say they can set up your utilities, which is a bunch of crap. All they're really doing is selling your information to an alarm company to hopefully in exchange sell you an alarm. So what they'll do is they'll call you up and say, hey, we see that your power is X, Y, and Z. Your electric is X, Y, and Z. Your cable can be transferred. They service this area too. They don't set anything up. They just tell you who they are. Oh, and by the way, can we sell you an alarm package? I'm not a huge fan of that situation, so I just go with the title company option. The second thing I want to talk about is reviewing your home warranty. A lot of sellers and a lot of buyers will get these at closing. So sometimes the seller pays for it. Sometimes you as the buyer, you pay for it. Now, the one thing I want you to be cognizant about is all home warranties provide different things. So make sure you're reading that thing top to bottom. And if there's things it doesn't cover, you can typically get those things added on a la carte, such as pools, hot tubs, secondary refrigeration, gas fireplaces, things like that. And you also want to find out what the service minimum is and if you can choose your own company, because let's just say you have something go out and you have an investment property or an Airbnb and you need instant, immediate service, and the home warranty company doesn't allow that. They make you use their service providers, and now it's just not a benefit. So there's lots of different options out there. Make sure you're getting one that works for you. The third item that I'm going to tell you that you should take care of immediately is keying the locks. And the thing that I want to recommend is getting a home warranty that includes replacing all the locks for the service fee. So typically the service fee is around $75. And you just call them up once you close, say, hey, I closed on my house. I need to have my house rekeyed. Usually they'll cover like up to 5 locks. They go through, make sure they're all in the same key. It's a great thing. And you're off to the races. The thing is if you don't rekey the locks, the old homeowner may or may not have extra keys to the house. They might have given out extra keys. This also includes the mailbox. Sometimes you have to go down to the post office and get the key. If it's a mailbox, that's on a separate system if they don't leave the key back. And if the post office has to go out and rekey your mailbox, it's going to be about $250. And since it's a federally owned item, the key company can't rekey the mailbox, which is crazy. So personally, with the mailbox, I just use the same mailbox key that the previous owner had. That's really going to be up to you. The fourth action item that I want to discuss is making sure that your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide sensors are in fully working order. Most states require the house when it's sold to have all working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide sensors, but I have realized in some states, the regulations are a lot different. So some states only require the house to have one carbon monoxide sensor. Some of them make and require the house to have carbon monoxide sensors within 3 feet of every single bedroom. Some states make the smoke detectors be hardwired in every single bedroom with battery backups. All I can say is you're never wrong by over preparing with this stuff. Carbon monoxide and smoke is extremely dangerous. And if you call your local fire department, they will come out and make sure that you're in fully working order, which is something I highly recommend doing because you don't want to play any games with these things. The fifth action item that we should discuss is getting your mail forwarded. Now, if you're at a current residence, you just have to go on to the USPS website, usps.gov or .com. I don't know whichever one it is. And you just type in, I'm moving from this address to that address. It'll ask you, do you want to extend this out for a duration period of time? That's the only reason it typically costs you some money. I personally like having it extended for as long as possible. And then I can go in there and make changes as needed. But once you get your mail, start forwarding and the previous seller forwards their mail, typically you don't have any issues with the mail going to the wrong location. And if you do have one of those mailboxes with lots of mailboxes in there, what it's going to typically have is a little slip in there from the USPS that you have to fill out before they'll start delivering your mail again. So make sure that you fill out that slip immediately. The sixth item I want to talk about is reviewing your inspection list. Now, typically, when you're a buyer working with a real estate professional and you guys do your inspection, typically you negotiate some repairs in that transaction. Well, let's say there's some items on there that are really small that you didn't get to having fixed. What I recommend doing is finding a handyman in your area. You can go to websites such as TaskRabbit or Thumbtack, hire somebody off one of those apps to come out and take care of a lot of those handyman action items. You can use that as a little to-do list. And if you need someone that's more advanced, such as an electrician, plumber, contractor, you can find those people on those lists too, or ask your real estate professional for a recommendation. Personally, I like using people that I work with and know, like, and trust. So that way I always know the job is going to get done right. Moving into the number 7 is something that I think everyone should do. And it's going to take you a little bit of elbow grease to make sure that this happens, but it's giving the interior walls a fresh coat of paint, because you're going to be moving in. If you end up wanting to paint down the road, or you're like, oh, I'm going to move in and then paint, then you're worried about getting paint on things, getting it on your furniture and all those things. There's also a lot of painters out there that can go in there and paint a house a lot quicker when the house is completely empty. They use these giant rollers. I'm so blown away by how many times I've had my houses painted. They use these big 3-foot wide rulers and they just go in there. They're like, wah, 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 wah. They literally have the whole entire 2,000 square foot home painted twice, 2 coats in less than 1 day. It's simply amazing. And while you're at it, let's talk about action item number 8, which is if you ever plan on replacing the floors, this is the perfect time to do it. People always tell me, they're like, oh, I'm going to replace the carpet, or I'm going to replace the hardwoods or the linoleum down the road. And I say, you don't want to do it down the road. You want to do it today while all the furniture and everything is moved out. Moving furniture and changing floors and painting is an absolute pain in the butt. Might as well just do it now. And if you're like, well, I can't afford it, I would say, if you can't afford it, it is what it is. But if you can't afford it, I would highly recommend doing it now. It's the most opportunistic time that you will ever have in your life. And if you ask me in what series you should do it, my personal opinion is you get your floors laid and then you have the painters come in, because what the painters can do is once the floor is laid, they come in and they can also touch up all the trim work. They can paint all the walls. They can paint the doors or replace them too. Sometimes you're opening Pandora's box, but it's a great time to do it while you have a nice base foundation. So number 9, once you get those floors nice and shined up and those walls nice and painted and everything moved in, the one thing I would highly recommend doing is getting your house professionally cleaned. Now, also owning a house is a lot of work. It takes up a lot of time, a lot of energy. I would highly recommend finding a cleaner that you can build a relationship with that would be more than happy to come back every week, every other week, once a month, whatever fits your mojo. I'm telling you, if you find someone that can clean your house professionally and do it once a month or every other week or once a week, it'll save you so much heartache, headaches, fights if you're, got a family and it's taking up hours of your time. I love having a housekeeper. It's a freaking game changer. The 10th thing I want to talk about is locating all of your emergency shutoffs. What I'm talking about is your power on your electrical panel. I'm talking about your gas. If you have gas at your house, finding that gas shutoff outside. There's also a master shutoff to your water. And if you have sprinklers, there's a master shutoff to sprinklers. There's pretty much a master shutoff for every single utility that you have. And your inspector, when you're going through your inspection report, should be able to help you identify those things. But if they can't, I'm sure you can call a professional and they'll be able to help you identify that. But in the inspection report, they typically know exactly where all those things are. Or just go to YouTube and you can pretty much YouTube anything, right? And the 11th thing that I highly recommend doing is setting up a maintenance service schedule. So you have an HVAC system, you have filters in your HVAC system, you have the gutters on the roof, you have roof treatment, you have pest control, all sorts of things. What I would recommend doing is going through and making a little calendar and finding out exactly when the last time those items were taken care of. And if your home warranty does this, a lot of them will do a free HVAC tune-up in the spring and in the fall, which will make your life really, really easy. If you live in a state that has very, very dry climates like Arizona, you're gonna have to change the filter in the HVAC system every single month. I used to live in the Northwest where we changed the filters in our HVAC system once a year, maybe twice. We'd always say when the clocks roll back or go forward, that's when you change your filters. Well, then I moved to Arizona and they were like, you need to change your filters every month and don't buy the expensive ones because we have to do it every single month. So you might as well just buy the cheap ones. There's a lot of different things that you're going to get used to with home ownership. It could even be landscaping, hiring a landscaper, hiring somebody to do touch-up work, different types of things. But these are all the things that you should get in working order. So that way, if you just close your house or if you're working on closing your house, you are going to be well prepared and on your way into home ownership. I really hope you enjoyed these 11 action items. And if I missed one, make sure you drop me a comment down in the box. I would love to hear exactly what I missed. And something I could really appreciate is one of those like buttons. And if I missed one of those action items, make sure, like I always say, turn your notifications on. And so that way, when you drop your comments in the box, you never miss your opportunity to see those come to life. And until next time, we'll catch you later.